Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, July 23rd of 2024. The old summer is slipping right by us, and with us today, Don Schwenker, Lynn Flagel, Mike Steinis, myself, are your county supervisors. Lisa Smith, our county auditor, is with us.
Good morning.
Bjorn, our IT director, and Luann, our executive assistant, is here. Mary is here from the newspaper. And first on our agenda today would be Jaden Shekel, our assistant county engineer. Good morning, Jaden.
Good morning. First on the agenda is an entrance permit. I'm gonna butcher this last name, Tyler Zipper.
That's about as easy as you can get right there.
Thank you. It's an existing entrance. It's on 320th Street or D55 between Lamont and 52. He's got a shed there and looking for a 911 address, so did our site distance check. Everything checks out there. No culvert is needed. It all slopes away from the road. The ditch does anyway. So no issues, and this is our first entrance permit that was done on geo permits too. So went pretty smoothly. There's never any calls or any questions or issues, so. One in the books anyway.
When you got the teddy bear, you know, good deal. It worked.
Payment and all.
Nice. No.
So, we recommend approval.
I'll make a second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the entrance permit as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Last week we received the city of Preston's fiscal year 25 RCTP agreement. So they just provided the 2 copies of the agreement for their 25,000 that they were awarded. So it's just presenting this for authorizing the board chair to sign, execute. So.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the RCTP agreement with the city of Preston, which has been previously approved. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll just give some updates. Y61 overlay, they are still in the process. They're on the surface course right now. So they'll finish the main line likely tomorrow, barring any weather delays or plant breakdowns, because there's been that issue that's been delaying things. But then they'll go to side roads the remainder of the week and may go into early next. And then after that will be our concrete intersection with Highway 62. So we'll have at that time, the road will be, that intersection, 600 feet from 62 back, will be completely closed as they tear out the existing concrete, regrade, reform, and pour concrete. So we'll update Law Center and everybody as necessary, just to give them a heads up of the closure, but that's coming up here in the very near future. After that, the project really, pavement markings and shouldering will obviously occur. It's occurring right now with mainline paving, but after that, project should be about done.
I gotta admit, I've driven it about a week ago and what a difference it's making on there. It's just amazing. So.
Yeah,
So they got another layer after this one yet?
no, they are finishing. They're on the northbound lane yet today. They should finish the northbound today, and then they'll jump to the southbound lane, and whether they get that partially done today or all the way tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that'll be it then for the main line.
Okay,
The side roads will go about 100
Yeah.
foot back, but
yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So we're paving that. 62 was paved. Why do we have a cement?
we decided to do concrete at that approach because with all the truck traffic as it accelerates and decelerates at that intersection, you start to get, it's more prone to wheel rutting and stuff, where the
Okay.
concrete just seems
I
to
was
last
just curious.
longer. So,
And that was part of the bid, I think.
yes, yep.
Wow.
And that's how Z34 from the Damon Bridge to Highway 52, there's that concrete approach. Same with Z15 just south of Bellevue where it meets Highway 52's got the concrete approach, just to help that accelerating and
Makes sense.
decelerating of the truck traffic. So,
I will say the approaches on the gravel roads really have been holding up really well in some of the other projects that we've done. And to me, it's just a godsend, you know, otherwise they're always washboardy. I can't imagine, you know, snow removal is much easier.
well, it keeps the paved approaches, if you want to call them that, on the side roads also allow for our graders to, you know,
Sure.
the moldboard is right at the driver's cab basically, and the front end of his grader sticking how far out, so if you got gravel over the pavement, I mean, he's gotta watch for
Yeah.
traffic as he's grading that, so it keeps
Gotta be
him
much
from,
easier, yeah.
from sticking out in traffic.
So the truck can
Keeps it
actually push
safe.
that off of there.
Yeah.
267th looks really nice.
Yeah,
Tell your guys they did a great job there, the way it looks. I haven't personally been there, but
they did it,
appreciate the picture.
they did it, I mean, as fast as you could ever expect, and it turned out, I mean, I couldn't be happier with it, I guess, with the work that our guys did, so.
Do we seed that ourselves or who does that?
We are doing it, they
Okay.
did it yesterday, and I should be hydro mulching today, so.
The hydro mulcher works.
Mhm.
Good.
At least it did last year.
Listen,
90th Street, I'm gonna work on, that's, you know, we recall, was it maybe a couple weeks ago or last week, there was that request that came in.
Mhm.
We got the survey down on that, so now it's time for me to bring it into CAD to do a design to see what it takes to bring that road up to level A standards and associated costs, so. I won't get to it this week with other bridge stuff going on, but next week is my hope to get tackling on that, so. Just want to talk about the level C upgrade, so figure bring that one into discussion. And then we did receive compensation from the railroad for the damage to 334th Street, which I guess I personally pretty happy about that. So,
Well, I appreciate you renegotiating that a little bit and yeah. At least we made our point and we got compensation for it, so.
How much did you get?
36,200.
Really?
mhm.
Wow. I thought that would be kind of a drug
Start-
process.
Start high, Mary.
Whoa, yeah, well, if they're that happy to give it out, that's
For
for more,
for not knowing they were coming, you know.
It wasn't the easiest, but we got it done.
but didn't pay for them. Wow.
Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, other than that, I don't really have any other updates unless you guys got questions or anything.
Nope, keep up the good work. Tell
Oh,
the guy- tell everybody they're doing a great job. The roads look good. Been out puts around where they've been replaning up there. They're in more of the Otter Creek towards Lamont area right now, right there.
They're actually in the Preston area now,
Person there.
and so we had a discussion, we know due to the weather, I mean, we've fallen behind and, I mean, we're never gonna get up to where we wanted to be this year, so that's just, it is what it is, but the ones we're finished in the Preston area, Preston Sterling area, we talked about cherry picking some roads like throughout that are, I mean, all the roads need it, don't get me wrong, but picking the ones that are the widest, flattest, most difficult to maintain, potholy, what have you, get the worst ones addressed this year yet, and then so that way we don't, because you know, some of these roads have been, shouldn't say neglected, but we know that we knew that they were gonna be getting the retrieval process, so we kind of held off on stuff or in anticipation of it. Well, with stuff running short, we don't want to neglect, so let's get the ones that really need it, and once those are done, we'll continue on. It's not like we're gonna stop, but the roads that we may likely not get to, will spot rock as necessary till we get by, but just kind of want to give an update. So like right now, we're in Preston Sterling area, and then we're gonna jump around and get the roads that are in serious need of
Once you get towards the end of the year and you've jumped around or whatever, can we get, I refer to those maps a lot when people ask, are they doing my road when they go? If you could get an updated, which ones you did this year
Mhm.
versus what you proposed at the beginning here, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. So the two that I know are on our list, when we're done in Preston and Sterling, are South Gary Owen Road and Sewarding Ridge Road, because those two are wide. Fairly amount of good traffic and just maintenance problems, so.
Do you know for sure ones that will not be completed that were on the schedule, 216?
Not yet, can work on that with Rick, and I can look at that, but
I just,
the weather's just, it's been. a
somebody
day
quizzed
this
me
year.
about it. I said, they have a schedule and they are where they are and of course, you've been falling behind a little bit with the weather, of course, too, so.
And then I did get a call from Dan Schrader last week that for the 184th Avenue Bridge, he intends to start that late August, more likely early September, because due to weather, his projects have been behind too with the Wapsie being flooded and stuff, so.
Mhm.
Weather's been delaying everybody, so. But that's
Well-
an update on
Can't
that.
change
It is. Mother
I
Nature.
honestly heard good things. I appreciate the patching that was completed. It's actually nice that we can see the work orders that are in place and the ones that have been completed. It's nice to know and it's nice to see it, so I appreciate that also. Hope they keep coming and, I mean, some of them are not priority, I can see that, but honestly, it's nice to see and nice to know what's going on there, but.
And with this rain, I've been getting a lot of comments. I mean, good comments on the roads and how well they're,
I mean, when water gets off, that makes
yeah.
a difference.
Who knew?
As well.
That's all I have.
Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Yep, have a good day. Yep. All right then, are there any visitors, or citizens, either online or present that would like to address the board today? Hearing or seeing none, we will move down to Teresa Wenche from the Bellevue City Administrator. And she's here today. Well, I'll just let Teresa explain. Good morning.
Good morning. So, what brings us here today is Michael Burris, our new library director. Previously it was Marion Meyer, and she had worked for the city for 40 years. She just recently retired, and Michael joins us, so.
Yes, I've been a library director since 2009. Started off in Harlan, Iowa, moved to do 2 years as the library director for Lincoln County in Wyoming. And from there, I went to Holdridge, Nebraska, which is my last position. The move was made partly for professional reasons, partly for personal. I grew up in Cedar Rapids, so this is much closer to what I think the universe should look like instead of flat and treeless. So I'm settling in, and my family and I are very happy to be here in Jackson County.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate, coming to our community or moving back pretty close anyway, and actually for stepping up and making that move. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. This, like I said, I am moving from a position where I had was supervising 10, now I supervise 2. But honestly, I don't regret the change. Part of the professional reason is that the last building that I was in was built in 1903. It's an old Carnegie library that's been added onto. I think they still have some of the original plumbing. The walls are not Wi-Fi permeable. The ceiling is leaking. And all of those things are not things that are covered in a library director's degree. I'm sorry, but that's just way outside of my competence. And I'm much happier to be in a building where, well, Teresa has to deal with all the building issues. I am able to concentrate on getting the library to better serve the community.
So I apologize. I couldn't make the open house last week. I had a meeting in Dubuque, but I heard that you had an enormous turnout.
We did. Our door counter was at about 310 or so, which I did not think you could get that many people into our library. And yeah, it was a combination of celebration, our previous director's retirement party, and it was fantastic. It was a really great, like you said, a really great turnout. And I think we brought the visibility of the library to a lot more people in the community, and they understand why we're there and what they can use us for.
Well, we sure appreciate you stepping up and here today with us and hope you stick around.
Well, I plan to be back, next budget season where I come back and beg money. That's
Well, you're ready for that. You're prepared for that already?
Well, I'm prepared that that's going to happen.
You'll make your best attempt.
That's right.
Yep, no, it's just.
We will listen to some degree.
Thank you for the most honest response I've ever had. Yeah, as long as you're not openly yawning during my presentation, I think it's a good thing.
No, we support all the libraries in the community and we anticipate to continue that, of course, things change, but we sure appreciate what the libraries do and a lot of people don't think of the libraries a lot anymore, but I know my grandchildren use it a ton. They do.
Yeah, my position is the library is primarily a place to get stories into our children so that they turn out to be humans instead of barbarians.
Nice.
It's great for adults that want to keep their literacy skills sharp, but that starts as kids, making sure that they have the skills and the love of using those skills so that they can grow up to teach themselves anything they choose.
Good, appreciate it. Yeah,
Well, thank you.
thanks for making the trip. and-
Thank you.
Coming over.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah, welcome aboard. You go by Mike?
Yes.
Good, that's a nice name.
Welcome.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep.
Unless you want to give a report on yesterday's meeting, Teresa, no?
Why would you?
No, that's good.
No, it's all good. You can tell them all about it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so. Lisa?
This morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 16th, 2024 board proceedings written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the July 16th, 2024 board proceedings and authorized publication. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All that I have for the board today.
You are awesome. Luann? I don't see anybody else in sight here yet. That's a little bit early. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. This will be the shortest calendar I think we've had in a long, long time, so.
You're awesome too.
Okay, so tonight is all the excitement around town is 6 o'clock is the fair parade for the Jackson County Fair, and that will run the rest of the week. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock is Jackson County EMS Association meeting. I don't know if they've picked a time for that yet. I haven't heard or place for that, but any of you can go to that. Friday, July 26th at 7 a.m. is Macocata Leadership Team meeting by Zoom for Don. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, July 30th at 9 a.m. And that afternoon at 4 p.m. it's a Mississippi Valley Workforce CEO meeting by Zoom for Don.
That's it.
That's it.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Boards or commissions? Anyone would like to report on? I guess I just spoke about Teresa. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We had the Prosperity Eastern Iowa meeting yesterday. and It was a very good meeting, very informational. We 2.5 hours with all the economic development people that were there. Talked greatly about the tourism working together with development and housing, and it really was a good meeting, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Our director, he was talking about a program where he came from previously that they used to do in the schools, and it was required, and it was actually hospitality training. You had to pass this course for hospitality, which, they had to actually work for a business or propose and do their studies, and so it was interesting. It was a really good meeting, and there was a lot of input from it, so. That's all I have for that one.
We had the Wacocota Watershed, the Watershed Management Authority meeting, and we met up at the New Mallory Abbey where they were doing a demonstration of some of the things they've done to kind of shore up and clean up the watershed through there, and it was just a neat thing to kind of go around and look and see what they're doing and stuff, so it's interesting to see kind of what our money is going towards to kind of help clean up the water.
Progress being made anyway.
So that was interesting. Limestone Bluffs was, we didn't have one this month, so we're kind of good to go.
Conservation, we met, they have 4 AmeriCorps workers this summer, and they've done a lot of good things. So the one worker did a presentation on different parks and what native prairies are there. And they also used the Codfish Hollow, which is not a conservation one, but kind of as a stable means to go off of. And she did a really good presentation, and from my understanding from Jess, she's done a lot of good presentations with the students. Another one printed a book that is going
She
to,
wrote.
or she wrote the book and is made copies that is gonna be going. I believe one will be at the interpretive center and a couple at the different schools about, and once she's done with her AmeriCorps group, it sounds like she might be trying to publish this book for sale. And it's really, I mean, her own illustrations of the plants and that are here in Jackson County, and explaining to kids what they do and different things like that. It was an impressive little book that she showed us, so I thought that was very good. Iris should be wrapping up at their Dressler subdivision area, getting the wells all capped and stuff like that. So that project should be winding down here. They're supposed to be done by the end of July, but with the rain, I don't know if they're set back just.
So
a
they've
little
got all the
bit.
water lines laid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the process of capping wells, and it sounded like there was 2 or 3 gentlemen going around and capping all the wells.
They gotta
So-
resurface the roads at the end of this project
Mhm.
over there.
Well, it's not only that they talked about cutting that road out and resurfacing it, but though it's gone. They took it out.
Yeah.
So they're putting a brand new road in.
But they figured that was gonna be better than patching and
Yeah.
having issues later
Yeah.
on, so.
I did travel through there last night just to check the water. Conservation has a little work in front of them. Cause we're
Yeah.
looking at that park. So.
Yeah.
So, which is, obviously hurt some of their funding because of the lack of camping, which hit kind of their peak season, so that wasn't so nice, but it sounded like Sebula was opened back up and they were working hard on that, but it would be a little bit yet for over in Bellevue. We did have a security meeting. There was a lot of talk down at that, it got brought up about just, like our front entrance here. Somebody could drive something through the front doors, if we should have a ballard or a planter or something there to deter something from coming through the front door. There was talk about, again, other security issues as far as the metal detectors. Our security here at the courthouse, their wands are bad, so they're in the process of purchasing 2 new wands for that. The last jail or the last courtroom deal that we had, they actually borrowed the sheriff's. But they said with them obviously being across town here shortly, that wouldn't be so convenient if their wands went down, so. But there was some pricing brought in for like what it would cost if we needed to put a post in the middle out there to deter. There was talk about moving, again, planters and things like that, so. Just different security issues that they're seeing throughout the courthouse. And we are looking at bringing somebody in to do a walkthrough. I believe it was done maybe 10 years ago or so, maybe a little longer than that, to just kind of give us a wish list of high priority, low priority of what we need to be looking at here in the courthouse for a
So
security.
you talking a
process.
bill? Oh, okay, security
So-
as far as, okay, but not.
It would be like somebody from, what was that called? Yeah, Homeland Security.
CI or something.
So just kind of doing an assessment of the building itself, so.
Okay. Anything else? I guess we can move forward. Thank you.
I think they come down, we do not have anybody, so.
Oh. So who would like to proceed?
Mine will just take a minute.
So will mine. So Becky Chapin, our Director of Human Resources. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning. So a couple things today. So the Sheriff's Department has had 3 part-time deputy sheriff vacancies. Back in February, the Civil Service Commission did testing and provided the sheriff a new list. He has recently made 2 offers of employment to fill 2 of those part-time vacancies. One of those was to Bryce Schmidt, who I announced last week, and then he's also going to be bringing on Shane Nixon, who is the chief of police for Sevilla right now. So standard protocol for that is to have their probationary certificates approved. So today I would ask for a motion to approve and authorize the chair to sign the 9-month probationary certificate of appointment for Bryce Schmidt as a part-time deputy sheriff effective July 16th, 2024 through April 16th, 2025, including authorizing the auditor to implement for payroll purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the probation agreement and stipulations for Brian Schmidt as presented. Bryson?
Bryce.
Bryce.
Bryce, that's what I said. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And I do know that Brent does like to try to do public swearing in of the deputies, the last few, getting their bios and getting their families aligned has not quite worked out. It is my understanding Bryce is here today and Brent will be doing that after or sometime during the meeting whenever he was on to do a swearing in for Bryce. And then I would ask for a motion to approve and authorize the chair to sign the 9-month probationary certificate of appointment for Shane Nixon as a part-time deputy sheriff effective August 8th, 2024 through May 8th of 2025, including authorizing the auditor to implement for payroll purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the probation agreement as presented for Shane Nixon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then during the budget process, the board had agreed to offer funding for an additional position out at the conservation office, the natural resource ecologist. Nathan and I worked on a job description for that, and he ended up promoting one of his current naturalists to the ecologist position. That would leave a vacancy in the naturalist position. He's gonna hold off on hiring that until he gets Anthony transitioned to the ecologist and gets the park ranger hired and stuff. So it might be after the first of the year before he fills the naturalist position. But I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Anthony Morwald as the natural resource ecologist at $24.29 per hour, effective July 8th, 2024, including authorizing the auditor to implement for payroll purposes.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the hire of Anthony Vorwold as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed? Motion carried.
And 4 signatures from you.
Can I bring them down?
No, I think, I don't think it was Anthony.
Very much in proper.
Can I bring them down?
Oh, sure. Yep, that's fine. Yep. So that's all I have for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Lynn Miniger, Jackson County Emergency Manager. Is Dawn with you today? No?
No,
Okay,
so you should, the hazard mitigation plan has been put out to the public. We did get some response back, made the changes. So basically, that plan is to look at our vulnerabilities in the event of a disaster. So we gotta have a list
how often does that have to be updated?
every 5 years. So.
And you work with Dawn with this, is that the
Yeah,
case?
ECIA, so all the cities, the schools, and we ask for public input. So we put that together. The cities have to adopt it, the county has to adopt it, it will go to the state for review. Then after the state reviews it, it will go to FEMA down in Kansas City for final blessing.
So do we have a resolution number?
This is resolution number 10057-07-23-2024.
And are we the first to approve, as the city have presented?
The city of Valley approved theirs last night. So they got it in their hands, so whenever the cities get theirs, Next council meeting, they should approve it.
And is this mitigation plan, the actual plan itself available on your website or?
Yes.
County website?
Yes, I think Bjorn, you have it, yeah, we put it out there,
Nice.
I mean, even for public input. You know, we have
Sure.
it out there for a month.
Any questions for Lynn?
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve resolution 1057-07 23 2024 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed? Motion carried.
I give you an update, so we did, receive a declaration for the storms back in May. 'Cause we had over 89,000 and the state met their threshold. Currently, I don't think Jackson County is gonna meet the threshold for the flooding. Because the Iowa or the DNR dike in Green Island was on last year's declaration. Their emergency work breached. They don't think there's gonna be any new damage to that, so we're not gonna be able to make our 89,000.
Did that breach get any wider, by the way? Bigger, wider?
Breach,
On the dike?
not according to them. So I kept them in the loop ahead. For Cornelius, what's his name? I think it was first name,
Cornelius and,
down.
Yeah.
DNR,
yeah,
and then somebody from the Manchester office, they were in communication. And yeah, so that's where we stand on them too.
and we still haven't had a response from our declaration. I actually called,
No dough for snow.
did you hear that or we have not heard anything yet?
We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I actually called him.
Unfortunately, you look across the US, what's going on, there's a lot of stuff happening,
We probably got put on the back burner.
you know. I mean, if you see the streets in Clinton last night, they were flooded pretty good.
2 days of snow, we probably didn't make the cut. Anyway, well, I appreciate it. I did leave him a message. I expect a message back to say something.
So,
Appreciate the report. I appreciate the work you guys did on that mitigation plan and keep us
Wow.
posted.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Len.
Yep.
Do we know if Beth is available? Soon?
Yep. Thanks. It's on her way.
That shouldn't take long.
Oh,
Well, we hope the storms hold off for the parade anyway.
yeah, I see everybody's staking their claim on the street, so,
Get the blankets out, the chairs out.
People had blankets out on Sunday.
yeah.
On Sunday?
On Sunday, I
I
think.
wouldn't trust my blanket left out on the sidewalk on
I thought it
Sunday.
was that, we drove through Bellevue the day before the parade and there was people putting their chairs and stuff out for their heritage
Oh, yeah.
thing. There's staking
Well, you can
their
put a pile of gold out there if it's be safe.
spot.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty nice weather. Actually, the humidity sound like it's gonna come a little bit next couple days, but it holds off for the parade and everyone has a good time here. They got some nice events coming up for the parade or the fair and
Looks like the weather's gonna cooperate a little bit more than last year.
We hope.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, no tornado.
Well, good morning,
Good morning.
Beth Gerlach, our Jackson County Treasurer. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm assuming everyone has the packet I sent out,
Yep.
correct? All right. And again, I just highlighted in different colors the numbers that match up, so you can kind of follow along with me. But again, the first page is our daily spreadsheet that we use for daily balancing. And the number in green is the one that we balance to the total cash amount of $15,072,533.40. And those other numbers in yellow, blue, and orange are gonna be matched up throughout the rest of the packet too. So on the next page, that one in orange is the balance of the banks. So that's what we had in the bank account, the 14,973,485.48 is cash and banks.
Just for verification, Beth, that's end of fiscal year.
Yes, June
Thank you.
30th. Well, Friday, the 28th was the last business day of the fiscal year, so that's the day that we have here. Yeah, and so the next page is the monthly balancing sheet that we do every month to just verify that everything that we have in the bank accounts matches up with what the auditors have too. So you'll see that same number again in orange, the 14,973.45.48 is the balance of the bank accounts, the statement balances, and then the debit and credit cards in transit in blue. You'll see that on the first page again, repeated here. But that is what we took in and hadn't gotten deposits for debit and credit card transactions. And then the web payments would be what we took in online and hadn't received deposit for at that point in time. So 25,279.73 there, and then 11,313.90 for the debit and credit cards. All that to say total cash in office at that point in time was $99,047.92, which also matches on our daily balance sheet. And again, you'll see that same number in green that we balanced to for treasurer's cash balance. The next page is the semi-annual report. This is what gets published in the newspaper. So it will give you the starting balance for January, revenues, disbursements, and then the fund balance again for June matches with that 15,072,533.40. And any auditors warrants were outstanding. That's a new number we're seeing here in pink. So that's what warrants had been written, but not cashed yet.
Oh, I guess do we have funds of some funds available yet in the rescue plan funds?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
I guess for some reason I thought we depleted that fund, but not
It
so.
will be, I mean, but some of those funds haven't been expended yet.
Are they allocated to something?
I think it kind of depends on US Imaging. We
Oh,
anticipate,
okay.
77,000 was one of the last, so there are some funds. I did allocate the last time that I sent the report, you have the report. So everything's been allocated, but if we change the allocation, that's fine, but it needs to be allocated. And that's why I did that, but like I said, if you choose not to do it this way, we just change the allocation.
Okay, any other questions regarding that? End of the year? Fund balances? Okay,
Next on the packet is the spreadsheet that we compare the auditors' fund balances. Adding in the warrants that are outstanding, and then that matches up with the treasurer's balances. So it just shows you that all of those funds balances do match up with what the auditor says that we have. So what we have in the bank matches up with what we have in accounting. You'll see those same two numbers at the bottom, the auditor's warrants in pink, and then the treasurer's cash balance number in green. And then the semi-annual settlement is also part of that spreadsheet. Actually, all the rest of this is part of that spreadsheet. Where we have the breakdown of the amount of the 15,072,533.40. So that breaks it down what we have in checking, investments, BDs, currency and office. And then the interest that is in transit, so had been earned but not accounted for yet, is at the bottom half of that screen. So that's where we'll match the bank balances on the statements up with the interest and come up with that same number in orange, which we call cash and banks of the statement balances in orange. And then the next page is just a breakdown of dollar increment of what we keep in cash in office in the treasurer's office. So we break it down by coins, cash, everything on that page. And then the next one is our bank account balances along with our investment account balances, and then that total there at the bottom. The next page is the certificate of deposits balances, Valley State Bank. And then we break it down even further with those two blue lines of the debit and credit card transactions that were received, or excuse me, processed, but not have the deposits received yet. So the auditor does ask us for that. That's why this is included in here for the online transaction and the credit card.
Any questions for Beth?
You got my email.
Concern? I did.
Did it work? Is it what you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I had briefly looked it over last night, this morning a little bit. Yeah, I just
Okay.
to go from one to the other to just kind of interesting to see where we have been and where
Year over year and the fund
we
balances.
can see where we're headed. Yeah, I mean, there's a little differences in them a little bit.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
Yes. Can I get signatures now or do you want to wait?
Well, how many you need?
One from each of you.
I
Think
you
we can probably
just
accomplish that?
Sign it and then it's
Do we
done.
need to make a motion to approve the semi-annual report?
To the next one.
I will second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the the semi-annual report as presented. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. You need a date on here.
Sure.
And it is,
The 23rd.
there you go, sorry.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Enjoy the fair week.
Yeah,
Are the kids doing any 4-H stuff or no?
our kids don't do the 4-H stuff, but they go with Blair and
Oh, yeah.
they're at the dog show all day, or the fair all day
Well, there's a
yesterday.
lot of activities over there people don't realize, so hope they take advantage of that in the decent weather to check some of them things out.
Yep. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Beth.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll take a brief recess. All right, we will reconvene at this time, and we have Brent Kilberg, our Jackson County Sheriff. Good morning.
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 Before we get started with introducing Bryce, I'd like to say thanks to our IT specialist director, Bjorn Beck, and our EMA and Lynn Meetinger for helping us with a special project yesterday morning. I know they both probably were up pretty early in the morning to help us go out and do some surveillance with their drones on a significant case we had in the county. So I'm sure they're up by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go out and help us with that. So just giving them a special thanks for that. So means we don't get to compensate them for that or anything, so they really help us out with that skill. So very much appreciate that. The reason I was on the agenda today is to introduce Bryce Schmidt as one of our newest part-time deputies. Bryce was raised in the rural Preston, Iowa, and graduated from the Preston Community School District in 1989. He attended St. Ambrose University and graduated in 1993 with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice and a minor in Psychology. Bryce began part-time law enforcement employment with the West Liberty, Iowa Police Department and attended the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy, graduating in December of 93. In June of 94, Bryce was hired full-time by Marshalltown Police Department. He served as a patrolman, detective, field training officer, and crisis negotiator. In September of 98, Bryce relocated back to the area and accepted a deputy sheriff position with the Scott County Sheriff's Office. He began as a patrolman, then became an evidence technician, field training officer, and a member of the tactical team. Bryce then served as a school resource officer for the Pleasant Valley School District for 5 years and taught DARE. In 2005, Bryce was promoted to the rank of sergeant and supervised the Criminal Investigations Division and Sex Offender Registry Unit. In 2007, Bryce was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, supervising the afternoon shift patrol division. He later supervises the criminal investigations, civil and courthouse security divisions, and was a liaison for the Deputy Reserve Program and commander for the Tactical Operations Unit. In 2017, under newly elected Sheriff Tim Lane, Bryce was promoted to the rank of Major and Chief Deputy. He served as the Scott County Jail Administrator until his retirement in January of 2024. Bryce has been married to his wife Jill for 29 years, and they have 2 adult children, Caitlin and Alec. In his spare time, Bryce enjoys hunting and fishing and working with his family construction company, which is still down in the Preston area, Schmidt Excavation. His dad Ardo passed away recently, so, but his mom Jan is still down there in the area, and his brother Rick too runs the business, so. And Alec is actually part of that too, right? Yep, so, yeah, it's good to have another local guy come back to us. Bryce has had a very successful career with the Scott County Sheriff's Office. Like I said, he was a chief deputy and was actually their jail administrator as a chief deputy, so brings a lot of knowledge and skill to the table for us, and we plan on utilizing them in kind of a different variety of capacities, so.
Appreciate the experience bring aboard, and, yeah, welcome here. If, you want to swear in,
Yep.
get on your way.
Just flags here for Bryce.
Am I reading or just?
No.
Okay,
Just repeat after me.
okay.
So raise your right hand. I, Bryce Schmidt,
I, Bryce Schmidt,
having been appointed Deputy Sheriff of Jackson County
having been appointed Deputy Sheriff of Jackson County
under Brent Kilberg, Sheriff of Jackson County,
under Brent Kilberg, Sheriff of Jackson County,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of Deputy Sheriff
discharge all the duties of Deputy Sheriff
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
That's it. All right.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sure.
You want to get?
Don, could I ask you to take a photo?
Sure.
You and Bryce up there.
Three of them.
All right.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Bryce. Yep.
Glad to be back. It's
Welcome aboard.
it's kind of nice. Was thinking about this the other day. I've been away from Scott County probably for twice as long as what I was in Scott County, but being raised in Scott County or being raised in Jackson County, I'm sorry. I still always kind of think of this as home. So it's nice to be in a position or in a place in my life right now where I can come back and serve because I want to, not because I have to. So I thank you for that opportunity. So thank you both.
Nicely said.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bryce.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Welcome aboard. Yep, good luck here.
All righty, if you guys don't have anything else for me, that's all I got.
Any questions for
Actually,
Brent or
that
Bryce?
used A lot of my grandpa's construction equipment, and my grandpa sold out, finally got a bunch of it, he says he still uses the sheep's foot and stuff from my grandpa to this day.
Yeah, we have a couple sheep's foot. I'm not sure that my dad ever got rid of anything. It's like, at some point, we gotta get rid of that stuff, especially the stuff we don't use anymore. So we're working on that.
We really collector's items. We're getting closer to collector items, you know.
Antique.
It's vintage. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
as a kid, I probably drove that sheep's bed.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure you did. Absolutely.
Yep.
appreciate it.
But thank you for
Yeah,
your
good
time.
luck to you.
Thank you very much.
If you need anything from us, let us know.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
if you don't
I,
get
uh,
satisfaction out of it, Brian, just come.
I probably either knew or have met probably 80% of his staff and, you know, I hope you guys appreciate that. You got some good men and women that are working and serving for you. And very impressed with it so far. So not everybody gets that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we appreciate that
Welcome
too.
aboard.
Yeah.
For all the time these days, so.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, guys.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, moving right along. Elizabeth Townsend, our Jackson County Health Administrator.
Yay.
Good morning.
In here.
What?
We're trying to dry things out.
Well, we can't hear with the air conditioner going and the dehumidifier going, and everybody at one time, so we deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it. Okay. All right, so, our new private well grant year kicked off July 1st. I'm waiting on a promotional toolkit from the state. They're supposed to be putting something together with the changes to the grant. And then I'm gonna wait until fall to advertise, just because I'm without an assistant right now, and if we start advertising, we're gonna be getting a lot of calls, so. We're gonna wait for that toolkit and.
Quickly,
that
before I
news-
forget then, is the Geo, are you using the Geo Party?
Yes.
And it's working?
So I was able to get through an entire permit, so for my permits, it's the permit application and then it's tied to the inspection. So I was able to get through one, and it worked. There were problems though, so like when I was out in the field trying to do the inspection, I'd get all the way through and then it would disappear. And so I had to go in like 3 different times to do that. And this was over in the city of Andrew, so I should have had like decent. Yeah. So I got through one so far completely, because all of the other ones that I've had, they didn't work. So I could only do the permit part, but the permit didn't work either, so I had to go back and like do the permit manually and send it to them. So they were actually getting like 2 permits, but one was blank and one had the correct information.
Just keep us updated on that too. We want to make sure that this is working out for us here. I mean, the secondary roads had come in with one and they have theirs first one completed and it worked fine, so.
Yeah, this permit in particular is really complicated. My other permit, it's like the well permit is working well. But the
Sure.
other one is just such a
Sure.
complex permit.
Well, hopefully they can tweak that and get it working, yeah.
Yeah, they're working on it, so.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So right now I'm currently averaging 1 to 3 water tests a day without a recent advertisement. I have until the end of July to submit my claims for the last year, so I'm working on that. I kind of put a list in for you guys just on what our reimbursement is for, the services that are out there for the public and for us. They really upped it like on the training. We get like a $3,000 reimbursement for actual cost. The promotional toolkit, that was one that they upped. It used to be like 1,000. Go ahead.
And I'm sorry again, but to interrupt, but
You're fine.
you're receiving that funds through who?
So this is through our grants to counties
Yep.
program, which is actually now called the private well grant.
So it's coming from the state?
It's coming from the state.
Okay,
So
that
this
was my question. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yep. Let's see here. Yeah, so $3,000 on the advertising and promotional. So we're gonna get to do a lot more advertising this year. Some other things just to point out, they're doing like a $2,000, actually, I don't see that around here. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's a $2,000 reimbursement for, reconstruction and renovation. So before it was $1,000, now it's 2,000. So they're putting a lot more money out there, for people, so, you know, every time we go out, I'm hoping to have a promotional thing so that every time I go and test the water, I can give somebody a little promotional card that says, hey, this is what you could be eligible for. So yeah, good, it's good for anybody in the county that needs that service.
Actually, good to know, yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty amazing what they will help compensate for.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing with this grant is getting the qualified professionals out there to do the work. Because we only have so many people in the county. I think we only have 4 licensed well contractors in Jackson County that can actually do this work, where I can allow the reimbursement. And there's a lot of paperwork that goes with it. So that's really the challenging piece to this. It's just trying to like.
Yeah, I've been working with an individual that's been trying to get his well updated and, they just can't get a contractor there.
They can't get them there.
No.
Yep. Yeah, so Dressler's Water Project, so they are Oasis Well and Pump. I worked directly with them last week and this week. They are out there, plugging wells. I think that there was kind of a report that came back that I think one person wanted to keep their pump And so everybody all of a sudden wanted to keep their pumps. So there were pumps laying out in everybody's yards. I don't know, I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure they'll probably end up picking most of those up, you know.
So my question is that when the RFP went out for all this, is that considered, was that even addressed in it? Do they keep the pump? Does it belong to the contractors? Like when we put a new bridge in, you know, when they tear the old bridge out, the material belongs to the contractor, so.
So technically the pump belongs to the well owner. But I don't know why they would wanna keep it. It just seems kind
Well,
of,
unless they have another pump or another well or 2 or 3 wells on the farm or.
yeah, there was like one individual that had a farm and she said, well, I'm gonna save it for that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they can
Makes
keep
sense.
them. As long as they, I guess, don't leave them out in their yards. So yeah, they are getting all that plugging information to me, and then I will enter that into the private well tracking system. What was the other thing I was gonna say about that? There was something new that popped up. Oh, the variance that we put out there. So I got a call from the engineer and he said that, so because the Board of Health we put a variance out, widespread variance, so that water lines could go closer to septic if needed. And the report came back that not a single one needed that variance.
Nice,
So they were able to get everything in without
nice.
variance, which is good, because then it's less paperwork for
Sure.
us and this and that. So I was happy to hear about that, but I think we made the right choice in going and doing it just in case. Septic permits, I already kind of talked about the geo permitting piece, and how that was going. We had a local business in Bellevue that we were working on with the city of Bellevue, to get annexed in. I ended up getting a call from the DNR and they were like, Elizabeth, you're doing a great job. In fact, you're doing such a good job that you're doing DNR work. So, so they ended up taking over that whole project. I did get a call from Shane Dodge out of the Manchester field office. And it was right before he was going on vacation and he was gonna give me an update on that whole thing, but he's so busy, I didn't hear back. But anyway, that was taken over by the DNR, so we don't need to worry about it anymore. Training opportunities. So I've got kind of an exciting training opportunity to go to in Correctionville, Iowa. It was supposed to be back in June, but it's gonna be in August because of the flooding. But I'm going to learn how to inspect at-grade systems, and that's a newer system that we don't have any that I know of in Jackson County, but it'll allow for more of a conventional system with somebody that might not have the separation distance. So basically, you dig a little bit into the ground and then you would put more topsoil on top, and then it would be considered, it's a lower maintenance system like.
Give us an option.
Yep. Ordinances. So I am gonna try, as soon as we get our assistant hired, which we did have interviews and we did actually offer a position, but we're waiting to hear back right now, but as soon as we get that position in hired, I'm gonna be working on an ordinance. I've already kind of been working on it here and there over the last couple of years, but just haven't really put anything together, just kind of waiting to see what we really need. But one of the things that I talked to John Keys about was the ability to basically write tickets to people, just because the attorney's office is very busy. And so if we have another way to get in and enforce things in a more, I guess, timely manner, then that would be something that we would like to do. So that's something that I'm going to be drafting and bringing to everybody, so.
Actually brought it up in the economic development when we talked briefly last week about that. So it was very interesting to them also, to the fact that public health could go out and issue a citation, if you will, and fine somebody for their actions.
Mhm.
Because if we don't put any teeth, if you go out there and they're doing this, well, I don't know how that tube got there, or I don't know how it got there. And if we don't put any teeth into it and have a fine for it, well, you slap their fingers and we're not gonna go backward here. We're not gonna have open discharges anymore, and we're not gonna do that, so.
Yeah,
um,
so in a lot of these situations, I go to the DNR, I'm like, hey, what do I do, this and that, and they're like, hey, as a local public health official, you have more authority than we do. So we have the ability to go in and make our ordinance really strong and be able to go in and take care of these things, whereas the higher ups, it's harder for them. So I think this is a good move for us, you know, just. to be
Yeah, I
able
talked to
address-
John briefly about it too, so hopefully we can move along and take something, get something drafted anyway, we can look at.
Yeah, so it would be for, it would honestly just cover like well and septic, because we've had some work going on that shouldn't have been, and, you know, it's just hard to enforce it without being able to enforce it, you know.
If you don't have no laws or regulations, you can't enforce it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just have some year-to-date numbers here. Of course, that's all changed since I put this report together, but we're on target for, I mean, it's pretty typical year, I would say, just for numbers of permits and things like that, so.
So when and just briefly go back to the front page, for average well test, you would get reimbursed $125,
Yes.
and you do 3 a day, you're
So-
averaging 2-3 a day?
Yeah, so our water tests, so we buy the bottles,
Mhm.
so we pay for those up front.
Mhm.
They're $23 a bottle. But that 125 covers that test kit
Testing.
and our administrative fees, because there is quite a bit of paperwork that goes along with all the tests. So yeah,
Does that pay for the lab too then?
so the test, so the bottle, when we buy the bottle, that pays for the lab fee.
Okay,
Yeah, so instead of just getting the bottles, otherwise I think they give them out to people and then, so
I
we.
guess what I'm getting at is there is some revenue there.
Yeah, we have a pretty good revenue in my department. I mean, and it's increased quite a bit, I would say, since, you know, I've added increased, you know, our permit fees and some services, so. I mean,
We like it,
yes,
yeah.
and I'm gonna hopefully do more, so just take time, but. Yeah.
Any questions for Elizabeth? I have heard somewhere in the rumblings too, that the DNR likes some of the stuff that you're doing, they might even use some of the initiatives that you went
Yeah.
and did, so.
Yeah, so there's a few things they've really complimented, and I just said, you know, you're one of the top, this is what we wanna see in the counties at the local level. So they're using some things and just examples across the state, things that I've done and things I brought up, so.
Awesome.
We appreciate that, and then we want to be in the front, not the rear, so we appreciate your work you've done with that and keep up the good work.
All right, thank
You
you.
need signatures or anything? Dang.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
have a good day. Okay, we have, are we all the way to the bottom?
We're at the end of the list.
Anything else on your list?
Make sure
Any
you
other?
get out and support the fair and the parade and
Yeah, we've got a good week, people, and hopefully you can get out there and support your local. I know the 4-H people and the kids and stuff really put a lot of work into it, and they got some nice events planned, and hopefully you enjoy the entertainment and your local county fair. There's a lot of communities that don't have that opportunity, so.
yeah.
And
for
we've
some
done
people-
some.
For some people, it might be the first time they get to look at the Together We Build building.
Yeah, so again, we've done some nice improvements down there with the track and with the bleachers and with fair, well, Together We Build building, the extension office, if you will, and hope everybody gets around to take a look at that. Enjoy the parade tonight. And don't get overheated.
Make sure, so in the Together We Build building, just so people know, that's where your state fair exhibits will be, and then the first year and 4-H exhibits are in there also.
Oh, so they're using the community room type thing too, or?
Yep, so they're using it to kind of showcase the newcomers and those going to state fair.
So were a lot of them in Boyer before? Is that?
No,
what
they were in Pearson, but
Just kind of scattered in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
so,
That's a neat idea.
Nice,
Those for state fair consideration stuff to kind of have a
separate.
special place, so.
Any questions for the board?
Motion adjourned.
second,
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed. Motion carried, meeting adjourned.